This episode of the Infamous Podcast is brought to you by CBS All Access. Looking for a new streaming service to add so you can watch more stuff? Check out CBS All Access. Hit up infamouspodcast.com/CBS and you can get a free 1-week trial to CBS All Access and check out things like Star Trek Discovery, Picard, Survivor, all the other cool stuff that CBS has to offer. Star Trek Discovery, I said that already. You should really watch that. So hit up infamouspodcast.com/CBS to learn more. Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
And this is Darryl.
And this is on the other side of 250 episodes.
So we survived the apocalypse.
Yeah, the Infamous Podcast defeated the apocalypse straight up Scooby Gang style.
So if you need any tips,
as in Darryl,
episode 250.
Darryl died, and we had to resuscitate him Buffy style. She died in like every single apocalypse they had.
Pretty much.
So I mean, and the way she died in the series went out on such a high note like that. That was so cool.
I knew you were gonna go there. I knew it.
I joke about that, but I actually don't mind season 6 and 7. So, and season 6 gave us the musical episode. So sweet.
Oh, love the musical.
So yeah, it's all good. Alrighty. So
and remember, season 7 gave us Felicia Day.
Yeah, but she wasn't like smoking hot Felicia Day like she was in the guild yet.
But you know what? I still every time she was on screen, I still remember that. I'm like, who is this? It's like, yes, I like her.
Who is the redheaded girl who keeps cowering in fear? Very interesting. Darryl obviously has a type. So anyway. All right. So this week we have no news bites. Our whole episode is essentially a news bite of just a roundup of DC Fandome. Yeah, I mean, we can just hop right into it. So before we started, Darryl, I was asking you, did you enjoy this more than Comic-Con at home?
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I told you before we got on air is it's only something like this when you're doing it virtually. There's only so much you can do because there's nothing that beats that camaraderie that a lot of these actors have together when they're on stage together. I've seen a lot of panels at Comic-Con and everything, and I don't watch them all the time, but I watch enough and I've seen enough snippets where you really get how close some of these co-stars are. Like for example, Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, they're basically brothers,
right?
Supernatural. And watching their when they're at Comic-Con or whatever, you just can't get that
right
from virtual.
Yeah, I mean you miss all that stuff on stage and like the cool stuff, like Tom Hiddleston coming out like kneel before me, you quivering mules or whatever he called them, in Hall H there. I agree. I thought this was much more interesting. I did not watch a whole lot of either of this live. I really I relied on like some of the YouTube channels that we like to kind of fill me in on what I missed from reading. I did make sure I caught like all like the trailers and stuff like as soon as they came out, so that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, watching this, watching some of this stuff just on the Brady Bunch Zoom type, little segments or little screens, it doesn't have the appeal for me. So that's why I just took, some of the summaries that some of the snippets that are out there by, like you said, some of the YouTube channels that we both follow and some of the breakdowns that way. I didn't watch like I possibly could have if it was actually live.
Yeah, and it feels like work, when you're watching those Zoom calls and stuff like that. Because like we both work remotely, and I'm on Teams all day long with multiple people, and it's like, okay, this is just a lot. Like I'm good. I don't need to sit at my desk for 24 hours or be glued to my phone for 24 hours watching something that I can very easily go to the site the next day and get all the roundup stuff. So yeah, all right. So I in the description or in the show notes, I just talk about like this week on the podcast, we look at all the news out of DC Fandome, the good, the bad, and the downright head scratchers. I only put the stuff I liked in the show notes. So I don't know if you noticed I left some things out. So like I left out the Black Adam thing. That was a head scratcher to me. Like why even bother? Like why not just have The Rock like record something and be like, hey, we're going into production on this date, this. Like why the over dramatic like animatic? Because I'd rather see it as a cartoon, to be honest. Like I don't really want to watch The Rock play Black Adam. Because it's gonna be.
You mean the Rock play The Rock? Like
no, it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be Hobbs as Black Adam. Like he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna stick a lightning bolt up some bitch ass. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, you do you, Rocky. You do you. But at the same time, like, no, nah.
So
it's like
I would.
Oh, sorry. I was just
I
gonna
would say
say
this.
Oh. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was going to say on it's like on Parks and Rec when they go to Grizzle and he's like, we don't like to say no around here, so it's more like nah, nah, brah. Anyway,
that's such a classic show.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt,
but I love The Rock for and again, he's one of those actors that he is what he is, and his charisma is great. I would hope that he tones down some of his Hobbsiness. Maybe
can't.
I would like to
impossible.
Because I think he's like from a physical standpoint, he's like a perfect Black Adam to me. But like, and he has that charisma that I would expect from Black Adam. But I want a little bit of that, just that anti-hero, not the anti-hero like Deadpool that makes a quip here and there. I mean, an anti-hero that you got a guy down, he'll kick him a couple times and not make a quip about it. So, like you said, it might be impossible. To your point, as far as the whole, animated whatever they did, that was very underwhelming for me.
Yeah, it was completely underwhelming. Like that was, I wouldn't say it was bad, but like, yeah, underwhelming is a great word to use for that.
It was quite cheesy.
Yeah, and then the Flash thing with Ezra Miller. Flash fact: you shouldn't be in the movie. You're an assaulter. You assault people on video, and we've seen it. Like Harley Sawyer got let go for some bullshit he tweeted 10 years ago. Much less. You put hands on a person, dude. You should be out. O-U-T out. And like, yes, I am biased. I think he's a shit actor, but like, out. I like it was so bad. That was the worst thing. And it's like you've never read The Flash once in your life. Someone told you to say that and you said it with the charisma of someone stepping in gum.
I will say about The Flash, I thought it was a nice little nugget that we found out that Batfleck is going to be back for that.
Yeah, I mean, but that kind of got spoiled before.
I know.
That was the problem. Like Warner Brothers cannot hold their load when it comes to an announcement, right? Marvel will shock you with that stuff, but like, WB cannot at all be like, hey, element of surprise. Let's have Ben Affleck like hack the stream as Batman. Right? That'd have been fun.
That would have been nice. That would have
made the list of the good stuff.
Yeah, the Flash. So have they even started? Do they have a script for that, or I don't even know.
I don't know.
Where they are.
I mean, I've said I do not like Flashpoint as a story.
It
ruined DC Comics. It was, you can go back and look at Flashpoint, and after episode like week 8 of the New 52, like it's just been downhill from there. And honestly, it's because the New 52 was not good. There were a couple good books, don't get me wrong, but the idea to take and cram 70 years of history at that point into like a 5-year, heroes have only been around for 5 years span.
Yeah.
But then they didn't change Batman's history or Green Lantern's. So there had been 5 Robins in a 5-year span. It's the worst internship program of all time.
Either they're getting killed, getting injured beyond repair, or they're going off and doing whatever.
Well, no, I mean, Barbara, I don't think ever got No, yeah, she didn't ever get paralyzed in that world, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like Jason Todd died, became Robin, got beaten up by the Joker, blowed up by the Joker, came back to life thanks to Ra's al Ghul. And it's Ra's al Ghul, everyone. Not Roz, Ra's. Ra's. Say it with me. Anyway, so I'm fired up tonight.
I did like Ra's al Ghul in Arrow season 3.
I will cut you. Weensy, I'll show you the knife.
Dude, I have plenty of knives. Don't forget that.
No, you remember? No. You remember Old School? The big fat black kid. My mom says if I screw through that stuff, she'll kill me, and she showed me the knife. It's the best line in the whole movie. It's the best line in the whole movie. But yeah, so it's just Flash has always been a really near and dear character to my heart. I loved Barry Allen. Yeah. I loved Wally West. Back when I wrote for sciencefiction.com, like on the regular, I wrote a whole like op-ed about the Flash and like how great the Flash was and why the Flash was important to me. And like as I became a runner and it became even more important to me, and it was always that like that Barry Allen, you got to keep moving, you got to keep pushing forward. Like that was like besides Steve Prefontaine, that was the other weird voice I heard in my head when I ran. So I'm really disappointed with
Run, Brian, run.
Exactly. Dude, it's not far off. But no, I'm pretty disappointed in Warner Brothers for keeping Ezra Miller around. And I'm not like a cancel culture person. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, we're not. Yeah.
I just don't think he's right for the role. If they wanted to have like a grown-up Bart Allen as Impulse, I'd buy him in the role. I would buy him in that role because he's frenetic. He's a little off his cuckoo. And, it's just one of those things where that's what that character needs to be. Barry's methodical. He's a scientist.
Yeah.
And, he's a CSI for cripe's sake. And yeah, so I don't know. The other thing that kind of disappointed me was Zachary Levi.
I didn't see that one.
Where'd the swollenness go? Like, his muscles are gone. He's back to like Chuck Bartowski size. It's like, one, how do you lean out like that? I'd like to get on that diet, and workout routine. But like, in Shazam, he was, some of that was the suit, but most of that was him. Because if you remember him from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which he shot while he was training, he was big dude. Like he was, he broad shoulder, broad chest, he was that like perfect triangle that like, guys of a certain era tried to be.
Right.
And yeah, so I was surprised by that. So I guess it's not really a disappointment. It's more like a head scratcher. Yeah. Like, when are you hitting the gym? When does this start?
That's what I was just about to ask, if they mentioned anything about Shazam 2, and also is he gonna have a bit role or any type of cameo in Black Adam?
I have no idea. So I mean, they were gonna put Black Adam out before they put Shazam out.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Which so I mean, I don't know if they've made changes to that story since everything. But yeah, it's that was just a weird like little thing that I was like, oh, okay, you're super skinny now. Okay. So the Intersect obviously has a high metabolism.
So he's back to regular size man, huh?
Right, exactly. What's up, regular size man? But yeah, all right. So I mean, that was really like the stuff I was like, eh. I mean, I don't know. Did you have anything like that?
No. It's funny because I think I was telling you that some of the panels, I tried to start watching the Flash panel, and again, it was only 15 minutes long, and I'm just done with the Flash. And yes, I know part of it, the coup de grace, or like what's his name says in Dragon Ball Z, the coup de grace was when the whole Hartley Sawyer thing. But and I've told you how the last couple years though, the writing in the Flash has just gotten worse and worse. And
yeah, I
was just like, after the end of last season, which granted, again, COVID made them have to make changes that they weren't going to make. They had to rush things, and tighten stuff up. So I get that was a part of the issue for last season, but overall, just the direction. I just don't like the direction they've taken in this show, and I just don't think I'm going to be watching it next year. So I was about to watch some of it, and then some of the stuff you told me after the fact, some of the stuff that like some of the actresses said, and I'm just that was after like it was over, and I could have watched because one of the I follow the channel Blind Wave, and they had a thing on it, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to waste my time on that.
So I gave up on the DC superhero shows a long time ago, and I think for good reason.
Yeah, I will say Arrow. I'm glad. I liked how Arrow went out for the most part. I think what they did for this season, it was kind of like an homage to the whole series in the sense of each episode kind of like touched on a villain from the past, and it made sense, when you put in the crisis and all that stuff. So it definitely wasn't Arrow's best season, but it was, it was probably the best season of Arrow for the last 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
So, but like to your point, I'm kind of over the DC shows. I might check out Stargirl if it comes on HBO Max. I don't know if it's on yet there.
Maybe, yeah. But I'm waiting. So I was surprised they didn't talk about the transition plan from DC Universe to HBO Max at all during all of this.
Because again, that's one you were talking about WB, how they can't hold their wad. They also have issues with planning.
Mm-hmm.
Justice League notwithstanding, and we'll talk about hopefully the saving grace of Justice League, but the whole plan of their DCEU was just a shit show from the start.
Right.
And this whole rollout of HBO Max was one of the worst rollouts of a premium probably the worst as far as I know. As far as I've experienced, the worst rollout of a streaming service of someone as big as Warner Brothers, someone with HBO and all this stuff. And they come out like that, really? Come on, people.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised they didn't mention anything about it because it seems like they just like the executives there. It seems like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's been so much shakeup, and I think that HBO, AT&T, wants it to be profitable, and so I think we're going to see a dip in quality from HBO for a short term before they get back to the actual premiere television.
At least we have Netflix shows and Amazon shows.
Yeah, I still got to watch Power Pill, whatever.
Project
Power. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so real quick on that one, how we were talking about it could be like Push.
Yeah.
It was like Push, but Push elevated a couple levels.
Okay.
So, it was one of those movies that it had some good moments and then other moments that were like...
Well, Push was the worst case scenario. Yeah. So...
Yeah. I was so excited when I saw the trailer for Push. I'm like, oh yeah, Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning. And I went to see that in the theaters, by the way.
I've really only liked Chris Evans outside of Captain America, maybe like one or two roles.
Gifted, he was
Gifted,
really good in
absolutely.
That.
The Gifted is I think that might be his best role.
I think so. Yeah.
And then in Not Another Teen Movie as Jake Weiler. And Snowpiercer. I liked him in Snowpiercer.
Yeah. He was actually good in Knives Out. He was a prick in Knives Out.
I haven't seen Knives Out.
Which it was good. Oh, why? Because it's ruined.
Yeah.
Come on.
I told you I don't even want to give that guy a stream. I told you I was going to pirate the movie and just immediately delete it. Which I did not do because that was effort. Anyway, all right, let's talk to the stuff we liked. How about that?
Yes,
Okay.
I need some positive in my life right now.
So so this list I sent you, I just kind of like hopped back and forth between the different things, right?
Right.
Genre type stuff. So I'm going to go in the order that I have it here. So the first thing was The Suicide Squad. We got a great Q&A with James Gunn and some of the cast. James Gunn's enthusiasm for this movie was infectious. I'm not gonna say after seeing this I'm like super excited to see the movie, but I'm definitely more interested in the movie now, and it'll definitely be something I go see in the theater.
Yeah, if there's anyone that can make some D level and F level characters interesting, it's James Gunn.
I mean, he did it with Guardians of the Galaxy, because let's be honest,
absolutely.
I'm the only person I know who read Guardians comics.
Yeah, I did not know. Well, you know that. Like when I was like, who are these people? I had heard about them, but because I would go to the bookstore and I would see the comics or the graphic novels and see them, but I never read it. So
like, I was the only one disappointed that they didn't give Drax his actual backstory or Quill his actual origin. So
the Drax one is the one I was more disappointed in, and I've told you, like, all Drax is a punchline now, and I kind of hope he dies in Guardians 3, just because he's a useless character now. So that was the one thing that I was disappointed that he's never really developed as a character, but. The point remains that James Gunn made these D-level characters that nobody knew about,
right,
and made them cool and interesting, and just one of my top movies.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I have an interesting take on the Suicide Squad. There are 17 members of Task Force X.
Okay.
I think 3 of them are covered in plot armor. I think the rest of them are expendable.
So Harley Quinn, safe.
Harley Quinn is safe.
Absolutely. Are you counting Amanda Waller as one of those?
No, she is not. Yeah, no, she's not. I don't even count her as. Yeah, she's separate. Okay. I think she's not going to die because she's Viola Davis is actually the cornerstone of these movies, if you really think about it.
No, absolutely she is.
So Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is 1. Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang is 2.
Yeah.
And then I think King Shark is the other one who's going to have tons of plot armor.
Dude, that is really funny. I was thinking of King Shark as well. I wasn't sure about the Captain Boomerang, but
yeah. Well, he was so popular. He was one of the few popular things. So I'm going to call it right now. Peacemaker, John Cena, first character to die.
They should be a Vegas line for
all
this
right.
stuff.
Second person to die, Savant, Michael Rooker.
I was gonna.
I think, Nathan Fillion, the detachable kid, is TDK. It is definitely gonna die. I think Idris Elba's gonna die probably earlier than we think in the movie. But yeah, I think what it's gonna do is they're gonna save those 3 characters for whatever the next Task Force X Suicide Squad movie is.
Yeah, I think that's a good guesstimate right there. And again, one of my favorite. And
I'm really hoping Rick Flag doesn't have any plot armor on him, and they can use live ammunition if they want.
Your disdain for Joel Kinnaman is getting to the legendary status.
I mean, he's just not a good actor. He's not. I mean, he's always the same. Like, if you watch him playing the schmarmy presidential candidate in House of Cards, or the weird person he played in The Killing, which I only watched 3 episodes of, or
never watched that,
playing Takashi and thank you, and
Alter Carbon.
By the way, I was gonna call Carbon Fiber. Good. Anyway, so why is it like he saw Joel Kinnaman in his head when he went into the sleeve? Why wasn't it Will Yun? Or was that right? Was it Will Yun was the?
Say that again.
When Joel Kinnaman was inside like the sleeve, or not in the sleeve, when he was in the little computer holding program, why did he look like Joel Kinnaman? Why didn't he look like Takashi, like the actual Takashi?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe it's because one of the things what were they called? The envoys were able to do is they were able to get into any sleeve and be able to work that sleeve basically almost instantly. So I wonder if, and again, this is, kind of like very flimsy right here. What I'm saying is that they did that so well, they became that person, even, they saw themselves as that person, even from a physical standpoint, even though we're talking about him being in the VR.
Okay.
And he saw him, maybe I don't know, but like that was one of the things the envoys did. That's why they were so special.
Yeah, so I didn't read the book, and they didn't really go too much into that. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'm fine. Like, you know, I'll be sad if Borg gets killed as Javelin, just because I like Borg from you know, Pitch Perfect 2 and At Midnight. So when he was on
Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah,
okay,
he was in DSM. He was the big giant guy, and she's like, "Well, maybe you're too big. I couldn't even mail you." This is so great.
So what I was saying before is like one of the things that the Flash has done very well, not from a CG standpoint necessarily because they're limited, but from a storytelling standpoint, I really like the episodes they've had, usually like with King Shark.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool. So
yeah, King Shark is a cool character, and I think having him stick around would be a very interesting thing.
And we'll be talking about King Shark a little bit later.
We will again, yeah. Game. So, and you know, Steve Agee is a perfect voice for him. I don't know if you know who he is. He was in New Girl. He was the homeless guy who lived on their street.
Yes.
He was really, really funny in the Sarah Silverman show. He was one of her gay neighbors. So I always get excited when I see him, and he's a really funny stand-up comic. So, I think he'll be perfect for King Shark. Not excited that Pete Davidson is in this movie. That definitely affects the enthusiasm a bit. I'm excited Idris Elba is there, but, they need to kill him, right? Having him overshadow everybody will not be fun, I think, for this movie. And then Peter Capaldi as the Thinker is a very interesting casting, especially since the Flash mucked that one up so badly.
Don't remind me. Oh god, that was terrible.
And then of course Sean Gunn and Nathan Fillion, who are a couple of Sean Gunn is his brother's Joe Pesci, right? He just kind of puts him in everything. And then Nathan Fillion is Gunn's Al Pacino, where he just kind of throws him in different roles. So
I wonder if he's going to have a North Carolinian accent in this.
I don't know, but I'm hoping Kevin Bacon shows up, because Gunn puts Kevin Bacon and stuff too, so we'll see. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I said though, James Gunn's enthusiasm definitely got me more excited. But yeah, seeing Pete Davidson, in there, I was kind of meh.
I did really like that. Like they had a 3-minute kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really neat.
That was really cool too. So
I think that was better than a trailer too.
Yes, it absolutely was. And I think that I am excited to see it. It's probably at from a 1 to 10, I'm probably at 6.5 right now. Okay. For this movie. Definitely would go see it in the theaters again because James Gunn.
Well,
I like what he's done.
I think this is one you have to see. This is something as big as this and ridiculous as this. You have to see in the movies theaters. The other vibe I got from this movie, watching the behind the scenes trailer, was Mystery Men.
You know what?
With Ben Stiller and William H. Macy and Hank Azaria. And Pee Wee Herman.
I've only seen that in bits and pieces. Yeah. I've never sat down and watched that movie from start to finish.
Mainly because a lot of the, you've got Polka Dot Man and Javelin and Savant, and then Peacemaker. Sorry, I keep calling him Peacekeeper. Peacemaker looks like, he made his own costume and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So all right, let's move on. We're gonna go to the PlayStation now. If you have an Xbox, suck it.
PlayStation.
I
love that.
Right? Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Woo. I'm ready to pre-order this today. And I hope they put a figure out with it, a 6-inch McFarlane figure.
Oh, dude, that would be so nice.
As a pre-order,
so
like as a $100 pre-order or whatever. So Batman is dead, and so he sends a if you've received this message, I'm dead, and the Batcave has been destroyed, but you're in the Belfry now. To Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood, that they have to fill the void, and it went on to be the coolest gameplay trailer than you'd ever expect, and it's got great villains. It's got Mr. Freeze, it's got Penguin, it's got all this stuff, and then at the very end, you got the Court of Owls.
Oh, I love that little stinger at the end. That was with the little girl narrating it.
Yep. Yeah, doing the rhyme, whatever the little poem about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. It looks great. It's rock steady, just like or no, wait, this was WB Games Montreal. So I think it was Rocksteady still who did this, because it's from the Arkham.
The Arkham team.
Yeah, the Arkham series and everything. So there's a little controversy over who Robin is. People are saying it's Damian, but I'm thinking it's Tim Drake, because Tim Drake has been in the games all along.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure about that either. That makes sense, especially when like the age factor.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
In Arkham Knight was Red Hood, right?
Was Arkham Knight Red Hood?
I don't know. I didn't play that one, so I have it. I just haven't played it. So
yeah, I have all 4 of them. I need to brush off. Thanks, PlayStation Network, for that.
Yeah, right. Woo.
But yeah, I really like the trailer and the ominous tones of I'm dead, and I watched a couple people reacting to this, and they're like, they need to have Batman. It's like, no, you don't necessarily need Batman.
No, this is the beauty of it.
Yeah. And I loved what I saw, and again, they gave us that gameplay trailer where you saw some of the combination moves that you can do, and I think it's co-op. And one of this is going to be like the next year or so for superhero games, because again, Marvel is I just finished 2 weekends on the Marvel Avengers beta that comes out next Friday, I think, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you and I are definitely going to play this together.
Yeah, like that combo move. Who was it? It was Batgirl and Robin, where she kind of like threw him in the air, and then Robin came and slammed him down. Stuff like that. Those kind of like old school wrestling moves.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be my favorite character, Nightwing, and you'll be your favorite character, Batgirl, and it'll be great.
But I want to play Nightwing.
No, Darryl. Yeah. No, bad Darryl.
Yeah, I think from a look standpoint, I really liked how the Red Hood. I've always liked the Red.
Yeah, Red Hood looks awesome, like with the kind of vest thing there and the hood and everything over the mask. But yeah, it's exciting. It's cool. It looks nice. It looks like it's going to be a fast game to play, not to play through, but it's going to be like just a lot of action and a lot of learning and unlocking new things. Scene where Batgirl rides up on the motorcycle and jumps off and goes into the attack, like it's like that's straight out of the comics and the cartoons, and it's perfect.
Yeah. So, and again, for a lot, there were some graphical things that I saw people talking about, but again, this was like in the pre-alpha build or something. I believe that's what they said. So there's a lot of work to be done.
This is just like, hey, surprise, like we have this game and we're actually kind of far along with it. So and it's not till 2021, so there's plenty of time. And
there's plenty of time, but like from what we saw, I am definitely excited to see more and definitely looking forward to get more information about this game.
Absolutely. All right, so the next thing, over to the comic book side of things, they had a quote unquote surprise DC Comics panel Sunday in the Hall of Heroes, and it is the return of Milestone Comics. Are you familiar with Milestone?
No, I remember last week I was asking you when we were talking about the whole DC
Milestone was the brainchild of Dwayne McDuffie. It was Icon, Static, a bunch of characters like that. I'm drawing a complete blank on the one that I really like, but anyway, I love Static. Static is one of my favorite characters, so the fact that we're getting another Static book has me excited. And it's not just comics, it's film, TV, and other media outside of comics. So if you're listening Warner Brothers games, I would like a Static Shock game. Please. It can be mobile It can be desktop. It can be console. I don't care. I just want to play a game as Static Shock, like going through and fucking dudes up in Dakota City. Plain and simple. So if you have gear show up too, awesome. If not, I'm good with just Static against the rest of the Bang Babies. If you base it off the cartoon, even better, because I think that'll be a better entry point to fans who maybe didn't read the comics. Speaking of, like, you know, we were talking about New 52 earlier. Like, the Static book was written and drawn by Scott McDaniel, and it was actually really good. And it was really interesting. And it only lasted six issues, and it made me so mad.
Oh, jeez. Now, is that streaming somewhere? Is that on
It's on the DC Universe app.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's not anywhere else right now. So I'm waiting for that to get to, like, I'm waiting for that to hit Max so I can watch that with Haley.
Mm-hmm.
So, because she'll really like that too, especially when Jon Stewart shows up, especially the crossover with Batman Beyond and Zeta and the Zeta Project and all that. So yeah, it's like Static is a really cool character. He's been wholly underutilized in the later seasons of Young Justice.
I wonder why that is. Because I remember watching the cartoon when it was out, and I actually enjoyed it.
I think it's because there's just so many characters, and they want to focus on like the core 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, I mean, but he's in there. I mean, he's on the team. He looks cool. He's got a cool costume and everything. But yeah, no. So Milestone, this is cool, and like, you know, this is the thing where like Milestone was, you know, Dwayne McDuffie was Black Guy. If you don't know Dwayne McDuffie, if you liked Justice League Unlimited, you have him to thank for that. He wrote a ton of the episodes. He was the driving force behind Justice League Unlimited. You know, he wrote a ton of great stuff. He was an amazing guy, and he passed away several years ago. And the comic book world has never been the same since he passed on.
Okay.
I think his wife is involved with it too, which is kind of cool. But yeah. All right. So back over to the movie side of things, we got a more extended look at the Snyder Cut.
Hallelujah.
That's his favorite song.
Yeah.
So Haley really likes that song. She likes the.
I love that song.
Yeah, me too. She likes the Jeff Buckley version, which I will concur is the best version. But I blew her mind when I let her know there's like 21 verses to the song, and almost nobody does the same version of the song when they redo it, which makes it even better. It's a living, breathing song. We did learn it's going to be divided into 4 1-hour-long parts, and then it will be edited together into a single film after all 4 of those parts are released. So I'm assuming they're going to do one a week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, that's smart. That is like, you know, I mean, I would much rather watch an hour and come back here to talk to all you guys and Darryl about, like, is it good? What do I want to see out of the next hour? This isn't any better than what Joss Whedon did. What the fuck? You know, so my expectations are so low.
See, my expectations, I won't say they're high. But I will say that, and again, I think I was talking to you. Yeah, no, I was talking to a couple of my, like on my other group guys text group list, and we were talking about this, and I was like, based on what I've seen from Zack Snyder, there's stuff that I absolutely love, Man of Steel, 300, stuff I really like, Watchmen, stuff I won't mention, like Sucker Punch, and then there's a couple other things in there.
I thought you weren't going to mention it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Martha. Why'd you say that name?
And then stuff I thought was okay, was decent, which is Batman v Superman. So I want the floor.
I want to mute you right now so bad.
I want the floor of this movie.
Mute.
I assume the floor, the absolute worst it could be, is the ultimate edition of Batman v Superman, which. Again, I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
it still had the one issue that it couldn't get rid of, which was Jesse Eisenberg. That's for me the biggest issue of that movie is Jesse Eisenberg.
You mean the Riddler masquerading as Lex Luthor? That was that was a very strange character choice.
Exactly. But from a plot standpoint, as far as the narrative goes, the Ultimate Edition it's far superior to the theatrical cut. Okay. I'll never watch the theatrical cut again. It's like Lord of the Rings, except even the theatrical cut of Lord of the Rings was great.
Yeah, but, man, that was some bullshit right there. They should have put the full cuts out in the movie theater movies.
That's cash grab, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
And I've bought those in like almost every iteration too.
I still haven't got the Blu-ray versions of those.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't get. I had the DVD and I bought it on digital, 4K digital. So.
Yeah,
it was like $9.99 for all three of them. It was crazy. It was some weird iTunes sale. Or no, they were $4.99 each is what it was. There was like some crazy sale. I was like, hell yeah. You could get those, all three of those, and then all three of the Hobbit extended for $4.99 each. And I did not buy the Hobbit extended because the Hobbit should have been one, maybe two movies.
Two movies
at max. They could have done it in one easily, but that again was another cash grab.
The Battle of the Five Armies was a train wreck of a movie.
So was the Desolation of Smaug. You can see during the Desolation of Smaug the edit that was supposed to be at the middle of the first movie.
Yes, you could.
And it's like, wait, you filmed this and then you like said, hold on, let's like cut here and like move this to the end of the editing program and let's like fill in with this nonsense. Yeah. I will say the only difference between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings is in Lord of the Rings they walked everywhere and in The Hobbit they ran. But no, I'm excited for this. I am excited because I want to see the difference. I believe filmmakers should get their own view. I think that they should change the director from the theatrical release to Joss Whedon, even though that's not up to Warner Brothers. That's the Directors Guild of America. But yeah, so we will see.
I will say this when we were talking about Ezra Miller, like the 10-second scene we have at the end of this trailer of him talking about the dark side. Or I don't know, it might have been Steppenwolf when they were talking about how, he's beaten all these things on thousands, hundreds of worlds. That 10 seconds was the best Ezra Miller as Flash that we've seen, because he in that little scene he actually reminded me of something that Barry Allen would say. Yeah, and not in I just run real fast and push people.
Yeah,
not stupid stuff like that.
You guys have been in fights, and I'm just a guy. I'm a guy who's fast, but I'm still just a guy.
Yeah. So and
do you have something to eat?
Steppenwolf looks so much better.
So much better. His lips move. His lips move now. I mean that right there is a plus.
And the biggest thing, like before we leave, I want to say is that from the start, Cyborg was supposed to be the heart of that movie, and that was Snyder said that on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's going to come to fruition.
Yeah, I don't know if Ray Fisher can carry that though.
I don't know. Again, it's tough to say because again, certain directors, and again, you have people that can act no matter the director, but let's not kid ourselves that certain directors can hamper someone's performance. And again, with some of the stuff that has come out, about what he's been saying about Jeff Johns and
Joss Whedon and John
like
Burning Man. I don't remember his last name, but yeah, no, you're right. And I think he may have had a very toxic experience on the film. And it's funny, like Jeff Johns is this like revered dude in comics. And to me, he's like the Vince Russo of comics. He's really good at starting storylines. He has no idea how to get out of them.
Russo.
He doesn't. He starts great storylines. He has no idea how to get out of them. Like, you had the whole Green Lantern Rebirth thing, followed by the War of Light with the all the Corps, the Lantern Corps Wars, and then you had the Black Lantern stuff as the next follow-up trilogy, and that one never actually ended. It just went into the White Lantern stuff, and like it just kind of like, okay, like, but what was the outcome of the heroes fighting all the heroes and villains back from the dead because of Black Lantern rings? Oh, nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Stephen King gets, is that he's notoriously, his endings a lot of times are just they just don't keep up with the excellence of his acts 1 and 2.
Yeah, I feel his acts 1 and 2 don't really keep up with the reputation Stephen King has for being a good writer.
Yeah, I think he can be, like, he's had some great stuff. I don't think there's any denying that.
I don't like Stephen King. But
but
I don't like horror. I don't, so.
But I will say it's not for everybody, because he does take his time to a point that in some books it works, in other books it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
my favorite book is Dune. Like, I'm okay with people taking their time to get to where they need to go. So some people will call Dune boring. I call Dune methodical and awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So no, the Snyder Cut. So 4 parts next year. So we'll see what happens. All right. So the next thing, back to the PlayStation, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I feel like this little video package that we got is on par with the DCU Online video that we got.
I love that trailer. Amazing.
Lantern, get over here.
Yeah. Shazam!
Yeah. And then Superman rolls up on Wonder Woman, and Lex Luthor stuffed her corpse full of kryptonite. That was insane. But yeah, no, this was great. I thought, like, you got to see Captain Boomerang, you got to see King Shark. I don't understand why they're not going with a more traditional Floyd Lawton. Why?
Yeah,
it's like Floyd Lawton was kind of like, a redneckish character,
right?
But and Will did not do Floyd Lawton justice.
He did not.
He really didn't.
That's one thing Arrow did much better than the book.
Well, that was the thing that got me down on the David Ayer Suicide Squad in the first place, is because they're like, well, we can't have 2 dead shots, and we certainly can't have one who's white that's really good, and then Will Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and that's Will Smith's ego. I think I 100% think that Will Smith was, and I can't prove that. It's a conspiracy theory on all parts, but I really do think he was like, well, yeah, that guy's really good, and I don't want to compete with that and be compared to that.
Well, honestly, I don't think that's the case. Well, I think it could be the case because ego, but also remember they had Amanda Waller killed too in Arrow.
Yeah, but Nivea from Spartacus was not the best Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
So,
but no, they got
okay.
her killed. Yeah. Well, no, I see what you're saying. But they killed her because of the Suicide Squad movie.
Right. Well, yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I understand. But they think we're so dumb that we can't have 2 of the same characters. And, now they're embracing the multiverse, which, that's what the Flash movie is going to be about. Is opening the multiverse. And we're going to get a Black Batman. We're going to get honestly, if we get the Black Superman from the multiverse, that's kind of cool, as long as the bunny comes with him. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna do that. And who was I watching? The one company was talking about how DC went broke and now they're getting woke, and that's just a recipe for disaster. Which I don't necessarily agree with. I think Jim Lee is just so bad at his job that when he says, "Oh, we're gonna have diversity and inclusivity," he doesn't actually know what he's talking about there. And again, he should just stick to drawing and let the professionals who understand how to craft a universe be the publishers. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. But okay, so you said this one is actually the one behind the Rocksteady Studios. So
yeah, this is Rocksteady for sure.
Okay.
So
but
yeah, I mean, this looks great. And then the whole time Harley's like, who was the thing we had to kill, the person we had to kill? And then Superman shows up and she's like, oh, hey. And then he totally disintegrates that soldier. And it's like, oh.
So in that trailer, there was more there was more camaraderie and more chemistry between them in that trailer than there was in the entire Justice League movie, the original, or Justice League, the entire Suicide Squad movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just
not even
again,
like. Did you say? Did you say camaraderie or did you say chemistry?
I meant chemistry.
Well, I just wanted to like, you know, because I agree. Like, it was definitely they were a team and a little family of assholes. So
like, because it's like, have I mentioned it? I never miss because you never shut up about it. But this game, I think it's not coming till 2022.
Yeah. So I did like that they all had jetpacks.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. So I'm hoping you get to fly around on a jetpack in the game, like Rocketeer style.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a little bit more zanier than the more quote unquote grounded Gotham Knights.
Yeah, I mean this game has to be ridiculous if you think Harley Quinn. If you think Harley Quinn can step up to Superman. So yeah,
it kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the trailers I've seen of Fortnite.
Yeah,
like so for instance, like they just let the trailer like Thor. Like brought in Iron Man, Wolverine, your favorite, and She-Hulk and a couple other ones to fight Galactus, like in this new season of
what is Wolverine gonna do against Galactus?
Get burned to a crisp like he did against the Sentinels back in the Days of Future Past, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. So, Wolverine.
But yeah,
the Greg Grunberg of the X-Men.
I really have fun with this. It's more of a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, it was very cool.
It was a lot of fun.
There's no gameplay to this yet. Like, I mean, this game is still early on. And the fact that they were able to provide that, I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, so next up is Wonder Woman 1984. So the only concern I have for this movie was Act 3 was so bad of Wonder Woman, right? Mm-hmm. And DC... And this is the same thing with Suicide Squad and the Snyder Cut. DC is so good at trailers.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good at putting out a trailer that's like, okay, I really, and this will come into play with the next topic as well. But it's like, okay, I really, really want to see this. But then you go to the movie and you're like, 2/3 of this movie was really good. And then I walked out of the movie like, what was that?
Yeah.
So John Campea was talking about this, and he's like, Patty Jenkins can do no wrong. It's like, you saw the third act of Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
So, I think if Patty Jenkins would have been left alone to make the Wonder Woman movie she wanted to make without having to tie it into the larger DCEU, it would have been all like the first 2/3 of that movie. And we would be talking about like this probably should have been nominated for Best Picture type of a thing. Like I think the first half of that, the first 2/3 of that movie was that good.
So good. Yeah.
I am not excited about Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. One, because Kristen Wiig is another one of those, she's super hit or miss, and we've seen so little of her, and she was chewing up so much scenery that it was kind of like And the CG for Cheetah is obviously not done, apparently, which for a movie that was supposed to come out last November has me worried. I think Pedro Pascal is a stand-in for Donald Trump, so we're going to get a lot of politics in this one, which I don't really want out of my Wonder Woman movie.
No.
But Chris Pine is a treasure.
Yes, he is.
He's awesome. And, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot is great. I mean, she's a great, like, not only does she look the part, which I think is honestly the most important thing about Wonder Woman is looking the part aesthetically, but like she brings like this really cool like heart and innocence and joy to the character that has been missing from the comics. Like this, she reminds me of the way Susan Eisenberg played her on Justice League Unlimited. With the the badass warrior spirit, but then at the same time she's also capable of making fun of Bruce. You know.
Yeah, I like the whole Kristen Wiig thing. I'm still not sold on her.
They couldn't have found an actress of color to play the bad guy.
Oh, jeez.
I mean,
like
maybe Kristen Wiig should like step down and say, "Hey, can you guys cast a different actress in this?"
Yeah, cheetahs are native
to Africa.
So yeah.
I'm gonna go get my sweatpants from Extract and put them on and make Jason Bateman mad. So
I'm gonna get I'll get my parachute pants with my
Dude,
red, white, and blue.
It's everybody parachuting now. So, my favorite line is, "The way I fly, they'll never find us. They have radar." Don't.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you about it. Like, are they gonna shoot at us?
What? So
I'm a little bit worried. Like my biggest worry is not necessarily her or even the fact that the CG might turn out to be a Black Panther final fight CG, which was, oh God, that was some of the worst CG I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just the final fight. It was like most of the CG in that movie looked like Tecmo Bowl.
Well, I'll just say that final fight between those two stood out. It was so bad. It was like, again, when I was just talking about when I was talking about Battle of the Five Armies, some of the CG in that movie was god awful.
Yeah.
But what you said about Pedro Pascal, I love the guy as an actor, but the whole him as a stand-in for Donald Trump.
Yeah. So they're saying.
I hope I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
I really hope I'm wrong on that.
So here it says, a charismatic businessman and entrepreneur who is famous for TV infomercials. Director Patty Jenkins stated Pascal's performance as Lord is inspired by Gordon Gekko of Oliver Stone's Wall Street and by Gene Hackman's portrayal of Lex Luthor in Richard Donner's 1978 Superman film, and denied that Donald Trump was the main influence for the portrayal, with Jenkins describing Lord as a villain with potential to be dangerous and scary. So, like, the fact that she's denying it, it's like, okay, yep, we get it.
Okay, it's kind of funny, the whole Gene Hackman thing. I could kind of see that, like the Gene Hackman cheese of Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mastermind in the world.
The greatest criminal mastermind of my time. So,
Miss Tessmacher.
But I like Pedro Pascal. Like what was that show on USA? With the house on the beach with the undercover agents.
Oh, crap! Because Daniel Suhada was in
that. Who was
Graceland.
Awesome. Graceland, thank you. Like he was fine in Graceland, right? That was the first thing I ever saw him in, actually, that's not the first thing I ever saw him. Buffy was the first thing I ever saw him in, but nobody knew it was him.
He was in Buffy, yeah.
But he was like, Graceland was the first thing where I looked him up and I was like, who is this guy? I really like him. He was obviously great in Game of Thrones. He was okay in the second Kingsman movie. But that wasn't really him. That was just poor storytelling. And, as the Mandalorian, I think he's great as the voice of the character.
Did you ever watch Narcos?
No, was he in Narcos?
Yes.
Who did he play?
Really good in that. He was one of the main characters, Javier Pena.
Okay, cool. But so I like him. So I'm interested to see how he does this. But again, I don't want to see a Donald Trump stand-in. We have enough Donald Trump in our lives. Just plain and simple. We have enough, more than enough Donald Trump than we ever need, right?
Right.
And it's just true. It's the point of the fact. It has nothing to do with politics here. We just he's
and that's my thing. It's not just politics, but when I understand modeling sometimes or certain aspects of a character on someone real, that's not a problem. But when you are doing it for your own agenda, I have an issue with that.
Yeah, and so I hope that's not. I hope this is true, and it's not the case.
Yeah, and again, the whole Gene Hackman is. I can see parts of that in his performance. So that's hopefully that's true.
But I will state again, great trailer.
Yes.
Wait and see for the execution of the movie.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to our last section. We saved the best for last.
Yes, the creme de la creme.
The cream of the crop.
The coup de grace.
The undisputed era. Boom.
Champagne.
The Batman.
That trailer, man. First of all, the Nirvana song.
Yeah.
Well, no, it didn't. Well, first, no, it didn't even start with that. It started with you hearing the duct tape come out.
Right.
Which that's always a fun time.
So,
when you have duct tape coming out.
I don't know. Did I talk to you about this, about the Riddler?
What?
I did not talk to you about this. Okay. So the big thing about the Riddler is he can't lie. Right? He can't lie. That's why he tells riddles. He tells on himself because he can't tell a lie. Because when he was a kid, his dad would beat the shit out of him for lying.
That's a really... See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so you see, people don't know this about the Riddler. They just think he's some fun, kooky guy with a cane. No, he's a straight-up damaged person whose dad did horrific things to him and fucked him up psychologically, which is why he does what he does. So he can't lie. So the No More Lies written on the duct tape was terrifyingly awesome. Terrifyingly awesome.
Yeah.
I'm okay. One, I have zero reservations about Robert Pattinson as Batman. I've been saying that for months on this show.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch Twilight, so I don't have that as my point of reference. My point of reference is the Lighthouse and High Life and some of the other things that he's done, like the indie movies that he's done that I really like, and Harry Potter. So I'm not worried about him being a sparkly Batman, as I've seen some people say online. I think he has the perfect look for a year 2 Batman. I think this is the first time they've ever cast a younger actor to play Batman who can grow with the role, and they can actually do time jumps to different points of Batman's life and use the same actor. So they can wait 3 years and do another Batman movie, and in 3 years he can play a year 10 Batman.
Yeah.
And then they can wait another 3 years and he can play a year 15 Batman or something like that, So I like, it's tremendous amount of foresight, and I think I do think he's a good actor. I think the suit looks really good. In some of the promotion shots we saw, the suit looked really good in motion, in particular. In some of the promotional shots we saw, he had like the eye coverings, with the white eyes, and then he didn't, and he had that stupid grease paint. I hated it in the first set of Batman movies. I hated it on Arrow, especially when his mask was just grease paint. That was lazy. And I hate it now. So, there's that. But that's a nitpick, and that has nothing to do with him. That has nothing to do with the story. That's just I like to not to be able to see Batman's eyes. I think seeing that stark black costume with the white eyes is kind of terrifying. But yeah, I'm interested. Again, this is a great trailer.
So for me, I actually like the grease paint thing. I think and again, when you're being
way to be contrary, Darryl. Way to be contrary.
It makes sense to me. Like when you're talking about growing with the role, you would think, stuff like that. He's a year 2 Batman, so I could see if down the road, if they want to, throw some little bug eyes on him, or bug white eyes on him, that would make sense.
I mean, I don't know. I like that aesthetic, right? I just do. And he could have had that from the beginning. It doesn't. It's just one of those things. But
So
yeah.
So from a trailer standpoint, I love, like, one of my friends said it best, and he said it has not Saw, but a 7 type feel to it. And it really, really does. And again, I with trailer, but I really, really love just that type of mood and atmosphere I got from that trailer of, how the tone of the movie.
Right.
And again, we can't, and again, we didn't see a lot of action.
But the action we did see was good, and it was
perfect.
It was not that goddamn Nolan style of fighting.
Oh, where you can't. Yeah.
You just can't discern anything, and you have a seizure from the shaky cam.
Yeah, that's one thing that if you look back at the Batman movies, the Nolan Batman movies, the fight scenes do not age well
the movies. Never mind. I've said my piece.
Well,
I only like Batman. I only like Batman Begins.
I still think that. Yeah, I've told you that too. Like that, I think Batman Begins is the best of the three movies.
Yeah, I mean, The Dark Knight should have been called The Joker. And again, there was or Batman v Joker or something like that. And again, there was enough time in that movie to kill the Joker after Heath Ledger had died and to keep Two-Face around for the next movie. And then we don't get the ridiculousness of, I was born in the darkness, you but adopted it.
That actually wasn't even the problem with that movie.
No, but I mean,
there was a lot of problems.
No, it was the fact that 5 minutes of screen time took 45 minutes of screen time took 5 minutes of like what should have happened in the movie.
Yeah,
with the bomb.
That's true. Oh god. But anyway, so I really like this trailer.
Same.
I like the tone.
I loved seeing the Batmobile. I loved seeing the Batmobile.
I want that. Yeah, I would like to quote Tony Stark in Iron Man 2. I want it.
Yeah.
I want one. But Colin Farrell looks nothing like Colin Farrell.
No, nothing at all.
I didn't even realize that was supposed to be him until like after the fact.
Yeah.
So again,
I'm hoping they don't overload this with villains. With super villains. Let me rephrase that, because like it's year 2, right? There shouldn't be a whole lot of them yet. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm looking at a headline from Hyper Beast. The Batman may be the franchise's most grounded live action film thus far. Batman shouldn't be grounded. Batman needs to be fantastical. And like God bless him, Burton got it right. Where does he get those wonderful toys? Like even in year 2, right? Even in year 2 he needs to have the gadgets.
But it's got to be dark though.
It does, yeah. So I did like I liked the Batcave, because it was growing. You saw some of the vehicles in there and stuff. Batcow was in the background moving around, and
yeah, I just love. As long as the film turns out well, as long as it turns out well, or at least it doesn't do a Dark Knight Rises, I'll say that.
Yeah.
This was perfectly captures the tone of the Batman movie that I was kind of looking for. So there's that. And again, it's a trailer. It's still. Is there a release date on that? Like probably like October. I think it's October.
October 1st, 2021. So.
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm excited to see Paul Dano play the Riddler. He's a I don't know if he's really considered a young actor anymore. He's probably in his 30s. I've liked him, and like he was in Little Miss Sunshine. He was in There Will Be Blood. He's been in a lot. He's got a really cool filmography, and he's an interesting choice. Like Pattinson is an interesting choice to be Batman. He's an interesting choice to be the Riddler. Oh, he was in Looper. That was the other thing I liked him in. Goddamn Ruin Johnson. But yeah, so like I said, I'm excited to see this movie. I'm excited to see where they take the Batman in this particular universe. I really hope this is Matt Reeves' Rise of the Planet of the Apes and not War for the Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
So, but
the war that wasn't a war.
It was a minor skirmish at the Planet of the Apes. It's just what it was. And yeah. So, anyway, like I said, I enjoyed this much more than Comic-Con at Home. I think for one, it was because it was just one topic, one line of IP. Two, I think they learned a lot from Comic-Con at Home, what they did wrong, and they did a lot more right here. And I think they really came hard with the special presentations and features and clips and trailers and one of the things I didn't put on here because the trailer came out months ago, but the new clip for Man of Tomorrow, Superman Man of Tomorrow animated series or animated movie. That
Animated
just looks
movie,
awesome. I mean,
that looks really good.
so I watched Superman versus the Elite the other night again after watching that trailer because it's like, man, they like this will be a good Superman movie. And I'm excited for it. And plus you get like a really cool looking John Jones.
Yes. So yeah, I agree with all that. I think this was a major step up from Comic-Con. And again, I was asking you before the start, what is that's coming up in a couple weeks? So DC has.
So it looked like it. Like I went to the fandom site and it says there's another like live stream coming in 2 weeks. So I don't know if they're just replaying it or what, because it looks like it's the same panels, just on September 12th and 13th. So.
Okay.
So if you missed it, you have a chance to watch it. I will say if you missed it, just head to YouTube and search up DC Fandom, and there's a ton of just like really good commentary videos on there, and like all the clips of things that you may have missed. So yeah, Den of Nerds had a good one. What's the one guy that I just started watching that you
Young Ripper.
Yeah, Young Ripper 95. If you guys aren't like
59.
59, thank you. If you guys are interested in like DC Comics at all, check out Young Ripper 59 on YouTube. I think his name's Eric Gray. Eric July, thank you. He does some great like commentary on the comics and stuff like that. He's obviously like I feel like he and I are kindreds because he's obviously a fan of the comics, and I think he does say pretty regularly like Batman is my favorite character and stuff like that. So, I'm really enjoying like catching his commentary on things.
Yeah, he was the reason I started reading the new Thor books.
Because,
okay. He said it wasn't too bad, and I was it's like, oh, let me check it out then. So, I actually kind of liked it too.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. I really liked what he said about the NBA the other day, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. But yeah, all right, man. This short one this week. We're just over an hour. We talked for a long time last week. Anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, it's just I hopefully this is a turning point. I'll say for I'm going to say the DCEU, but it's not necessarily that shared universe. But you know what? If they're going to do movies like the Batman, and I would mention a movie that the Joker or Joker that aren't necessarily tied together, just do good movies. You know, like you said about Patty Jenkins, if she would have been able to make the Wonder Woman she wanted, not connected to anything, how good it could have been.
Right.
Just do that. Just focus on making good movies. Don't focus on a shared universe. Focus on making good movies. Yeah. And because the characters are there. I mean, they're there.
I mean, they have the most recognizable characters on the planet.
Absolutely.
I don't care how well Marvel has done at the box office. There are no two characters more recognizable on the planet than Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
None.
I would challenge that in this regard. Like for the young generation coming up with the MCU movies, that'll be different. But there's
I'm talking worldwide people who people who don't even know anything about superheroes. Yeah, they know who Superman and Batman are.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a much bigger, I guess you would say, pool of people that know these characters. Yeah, more than they know the MCU. Yeah. So the people that grew up through the MCU versus everybody else that, like you said,
But think back to
who's Batman,
right?
Or who's Superman?
I mean, but they may not know who plays the characters, but they knew who they are because they have actual symbols that they wear on their chest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Captain America wears a generic star on his chest. Iron Man wears a light bright on his chest. The only one with a logo on their chest is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So
Spider-Man's one of the biggest, most well-known characters out there.
I wonder what the correlation is there. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm like you. Like I came out of, I went into this kind of like, this is gonna be dumb. I'm not gonna like anything that they have to say. I will say the announcement of Milestone really made me happy. The video game stuff really kind of put me over the edge. And then the fact that they had really good movie trailers, really, really good movie trailers, has me cautiously optimistic.
So when you said that, you just reminded me of that Vince meme, the Vince McMahon, like the 3 stages. Like, so when they announced the milestone, you're like, yeah. You know, when they did the video games, oh, and then like the crazy Vince McMahon, like orgasmic face when we watched the trailers.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the Batman trailer was so good. I mean, I've probably watched it 4 times.
Yeah, I've watched it quite a bit too. I just love that tone. Perfect musical choice.
And I love Nirvana. So
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic to see what, you know, these movies and what DC's going to be doing for the future.
Yeah.
And again, for me, it's going to be more of the movies, the TV shows, and I include animated in that.
Yeah.
And the video games. I'm not as huge into the DC comics as you are, but
so the comics right now, right, are really interesting because they have the Joker War that is, it just kicked off, really. I mean, it's in, let's see, part 3 came out. So I think part 4 and 5 come out this week. So that's interesting. And then I think, no, part 2 of the tie-ins come out this week. I'm sorry. But then this week comes the start of the 3 Jokers. So since Rebirth started, there's been 3 versions of the Joker running around, and that's interesting. And from what I understand, this first issue was really good. So it's waiting for me at Queen City Comics to go get. But I mean, Batman. So this is going to run from Batman 95 to 100. And then it's going to like run through Nightwing and Red Hood and Teen Titans and, you know, Detective and I think Batgirl. But yeah, so but those are tie-ins. They're not like, there's actually a main story that you can read without any of the tie-ins, which is refreshing for a change. But you typically do have to read the tie-ins to get the nuance of the story. So yeah, wait for the trade, plain and simple. Yeah, so no, I mean, as a lifelong DC fan, I mean, I'm sitting here, like, you've seen the shelf that sits over top of my computer. A third of the shelf is R2-D2, and then what's left, half is Cyclops and half is Nightwing, with a Green Arrow, a couple Robins, an Aquaman, and a Batman, you know? And so that's like, and that's like almost all my DC stuff that's out right now. So, you know, I'm looking forward to having more of that, you know, more good stuff from DC.
Yes,
please, and thank you.
Don't disappoint us like we did the Justice League.
Oh, I mean, it's not just Justice League. I mean, it was Batman versus Superman. Like, the whole idea. Well, here's the thing: is Man of Steel was never the kickoff for a shared universe.
No, it wasn't.
And
as much as I love it, it wasn't. No.
And I was lukewarm to it when it came out. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But I've since, like, because of Henry Cavill, like, I've definitely, like, taken a second look at it and, like, definitely enjoy it a little more, to the point where I actually finally bought it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, all right, cool. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. So, thanks to Julian Brown for still continuing to back us on Patreon. If you guys are interested in joining, it's patreon.com/infamouspodcast. If you like what you hear, go give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. That would be outstanding. Someone gave us a 3-star review, and I want to know who did it. Email Darryl. Darryl finally put a bio and a picture up on the website, so that's worth checking out. Wink. And when I say Darryl put up, there's definitely air quotes around Darryl put up a bio and a picture. So yeah, make sure to go check that out.
That is pretty funny.
I see. I wanted to, like, see your face when I did it. Like, I almost like tried to video chat you to be like, hey, look at that, so I can watch you. I want to watch you see the humiliation that I put forth. I kid. There's no humiliation. It's awesome. It's the best picture of all time. Anyway, Cool. On that note, we'll see you guys next week. Later.
See ya.
The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati, with new episodes out every Sunday. You can find more information about the show online at infamouspodcast.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as @infamouspodcast. You can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcatching app. If you're enjoying the show, consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or check out our Patreon at patreon.com/infamouspodcast for our new tiers and rewards. The Infamous Podcast is hosted and produced by me, Brian Tudor, with music provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. You can find me on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as @BrianTudor. So, whenever you're listening to the show, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Later.